We are in beautiful Portage La Prairie, Manitoba for the 6th draw of the Canadians Men's Classic. My name is Ken Platink. I'll be doing color commentary. And with me today, we've got Matthew Hall from Team Tardy. Thanks for joining us today, Matthew.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Well, we're going to have a fun matchup today. This is an A game. On the A side still, Botcher playing Gunlickson. That is Jason Gunlickson and Brendan Botcher. And this game is about to get going. And so we are waiting for it to start. But a lot of great games going on here today, and we will be keeping you up to date with what is going on. Now, if you're a fan of curling, we have plenty more where that comes from. This afternoon, we will be curling again at 5 o'clock, and then we follow that up with an 8:30 draw later tonight. We will be back on the air all day tomorrow and again on Monday, I should say. And if you care to watch a little bit more curling on starting next Thursday, the Women's Classic here, the Canadians Women's Classic will begin, and that will host, from what I understand, almost a full tournament. So it should be pretty fun to watch. But plenty of stuff going on here in Portage La Prairie at the Portage Curling Club. Well, it looks like we're just about ready to go. As you can see here, Team Botcher ending up with the hammer in this game as the Gunlickson team is getting ready to throw the very first rock of this game. Connor Negevin playing lead for Team Gunlickson. They are the Yellowstones today.
Seen them throw the center guard here in the first end as expected. We have two very good, experienced teams here in this A final. Botcher coming off a silver medal at the Brier last year, and Gunlickson making the wild card to try to get that last spot into the Brier, coming up just short against Mike McEwen last year, but also a highly experienced team in the Slam circuit. And actually, Denny Neufeld as a second was playing on that Mike McEwen squad, who did very well at the Brier last year.
A lot of shakeups in many of the teams as we go into a new Olympic qualifying season. Karik Martin throwing lead stones for Team Botcher with his very first, asked to go into the house with his rock. So I've had a chance to ask a lot of curlers, what do you think of the new free guard zone?
Oh, I love it. It takes a little bit to get used to, but once you get used to the transition and sort of the different strategy that comes with it, it makes the games a lot more fun. You're always in it no matter what the score is, and you always got to be on top of your game. So it makes it a lot more interesting, and it gives you sort of those opportunities to get those bigger ends going, get more rocks in play, and usually ends up the better team comes out on top.
Negevin there with the hit and roll.
Clean! Whoa! 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 Darren a little. Yep. Yep. Okay, good.
Working the brush. Hit and roll, and that one still sticks around.
Expect to see a very clean end here after Gunlickson hogged that first rock at the end. Something must have happened there. You'd expect him to be a little bit close, so rock might have picked a little bit, but now they're probably just going to back up, play a nice clean end here, and sort of move on to the next one.
We've noticed lots of movement on the ice here on sheet number 6, especially with the finish.
Yeah, there's been a lot. We played on this sheet earlier this weekend in our first game. There's lots of curl across the board. Every sheet we've been on, the ice has been great. Speed's good. Lots of curl, just what you want to see for an event like this.
Brad Thiessen throwing second stones for Team Botcher. Asked to remove the yellow stone at the back of the house.
Clean! 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 Clean, clean. Very good.
And once again, we see a rock replaced in the back of the rings. Neufeld now doing the same.
Clean.
Looks like this could be a quiet end with no guards in place in front of the house.
Yeah, for sure. With that first miss there by Connor Nyegovin in the first rock of the end, you generally won't see a lot of teams go really hard in the first end. They'll try and throw up, get a few rocks in play, especially now it's a third game of the weekend. They got a good idea of what the ice is going to be doing. But with that first miss, they're probably just, they want to keep it a little bit easy, not sort of push the envelope too hard this early in the game. So they'll just back up, have a nice easy end, get a feel for what all the spots in the sheet are doing, and you'll probably see a few more rocks in play next end. I wouldn't expect this to be the game plan for the whole game.
The last game we did see here, we did see a lot of blanked ends, so looking for a little more action than this game this afternoon.
That's good, Brad.
Alex Forrest, the third on Team Gunlickson, up next. Looking to remove that blue at the back of the house. Botcher throwing the blue stones. Gunlickson throwing the yellow stones in this game.
Don't want to guard, though.
Darren Molding, the third for Team Botcher.
Line's good. We're going to be a little wider. Hard. You're going to get into some heavy stuff out here, guys. Hard.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. That's okay. Good throw.
Skip happy with that one. Alex Forrest looking to remove another stone. Common theme so far in this end. And this one just completely wide.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. It didn't look like they were panicking that much out of his hand, so must have been a good throw and maybe just caught something, although that is, we saw his last rock over curl as well with that hit in that spot, and that's where Connor Nyegovin threw his guard in the first end that ended up hogged, so might be something going on with the sheet there, but might just be some fresh pebble. Once it gets broken down, it should be okay, but definitely fooling Team Gunlickson here early on.
An opportunity now for the team.
Yeah,
to score.
You'll see them split the house here, and if that's successful, Gunlickson's going to have to make some two good shots himself here to get out of this end without giving up a deuce.
Well, things have now changed as we get to skip stones. Two rocks in the rings. They're very well split apart.
Yeah, you'll see Jason. There's no double right now, but you'll see Jason just try and hit and roll over to the other side of the sheet, try and get him a little bit closer so he can maybe make a double on his next shot.
Any thoughts? We don't really want to throw the out turn like just right now. Just try and roll this to the pot. Yeah, hit near the button and hopefully we get one cat that's normal. Touch more. Connor down if we're good.
Jason Gunlickson from Morris, Manitoba, with his first skip stone. Looking for a hit, possibly a little roll over to the other side.
Hard.
Calling for line.
Whoa.
Trying to hold it. Good job. They're looking for a little curl now and
Harder.
trying to move.
Hurry.
Well, they got to hope for a little help from their opponents who hit and roll to the wrong side.
Now Botcher will try and roll sort of back in the direction where it was before. Try and make this double as tough as possible. If he does nose it, you might see Jason try it. Jason's very good at throwing that up weight hit. So you might see him go to that and try and take a chance at the double.
I'm going to throw medium. Keep it up a little.
Edmonton skip, Brendan Botcher. Hit and roll. Going back to the other side. Sweeper trying to hold the line. Gets a bit of a roll. And pretty much eliminates a chance of a double there.
I would think so. This looks pretty flat. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jason give it a try anyways. He can throw it pretty hard from what I've seen from him, but it looks like a very tough double.
Not much to lose in this one. Might as well give it a try, see what happens.
Exactly. Worst that happens, you miss it and you're giving up a deuce anyways, but.
Two more rocks to go in this end. Last rock for Jason Guglisson. Trying for a double, a thin double. One. Shooter's rolling over. Didn't quite make it there. So it looks like a possible hit and stick for two for Brendan Botcher. Last rock first end. Looking for a hit and a stick. Hit and stick for two. Good to go. And the first end goes the way the Brendan Botcher team wants. They end up with 2 points, and we're ending up with a quick break. Stick around. We got more coming up from the Canad Men's Classic here at the Portage Curling Club.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
And welcome back to Portage La Prairie as we take off with round number 2 here, or end number 2, we should say correctly. Canad Men's Classic. Ken Plating along with me today. I've got Matthew Hall from Team Tardy bringing us all the exciting action here from Canad Men's Classic. We are in the second end here, and it looks like we're trying to bring one right into the house here for Team Botcher.
Yep, for sure. You'll see Botcher coming in here with their first one. Jason will probably try and throw the corner guard. He's going to want to get some rocks in play here in this second end. Hopefully try and get that deuce back after that unfortunate first end that did not go the way they were thinking it was going to halfway through. But they're going to try and sort of force some play in here and try and get that back.
Line's close. Okay. See if it's it. Yeah, it's perfect. Gotta go.
Looking to put up the corner guard, and that looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's about as much as you can ask for.
Clark Martin with the corner guard. Now, if you're Botcher, do you put one up front now, or do you put another one in?
It depends on the team, really. I think he called about top 12 here. A lot of the time you'll see a team just go as a tight guard. They don't want the other team to get the chance to play maybe a double and hit and roll behind the corner, especially this early in the game. But Bodger feels good after that 2 in the first end, so he's just going to go top 12. Comes up a little bit short, though. Not a bad result, though.
I think we just freeze here. Top 8.
Jason's going to try and lock down a freeze here. They seem a little bit unsure about this spot, though. This is where they came up a little bit short last end, had a flash that overcurled. You see even Botcher's team got a little bit caught on that last shot, coming up shorter than what they were thinking it was going to be.
Room at the moment. Lines up give a room, only Danny. Make sure there.
Rock's starting to finish now.
Yeah, Connor. Go ahead.
Connor Negevin with a very nice draw to the 8-foot.
Good adjustment in that spot. And I don't think it's anything, I don't think the ice is bad or anything. It's probably just like a little bit of fresh pebble that they've got caught on early in this game, but good adjustment there to make a nice freeze.
Whoa! 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 Hey! Off, 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 off. Off. No. No. No, off. That's fine. It can be a guard at this point.
Wanted to curl a little bit more on this one. Weight's perfect.
Yeah, good weight. You would have liked. I think they would have liked to get to the inside of that rock. The angles
Just a
are sort
little
of
more, yeah.
lining up for Gunlickson here. That yellow's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Okay, firm.
Looks like he wants to play a run back, roll to a corner guard, and hopefully get some of those blues moving around the rings.
Shooter. I'm just playing the hit and roll corner. Great shot.
So Gunlickson now with a couple corner guards.
The house.
Botcher looking to remove. 1, maybe 2 if he gets a good roll.
Yeah, he doesn't like the look of those 2 corners, and he knows if he can get Jason making plays in the house on those rocks, he's going to be happy. He's going to have a chance at a double. So just going to try and double peel these guards and hopefully keep it a little bit simple.
We've got 1. We've got a second one. Was it enough? And it was. Nice job of removing both of those stones.
Halfway. Line's good.
Second, Danny Neufeld with his last rock for this end.
For a curl, but it looks half. Alex. Yeah, go out. You can go out.
I think you're going to see a little bit of cat and mouse from these 2 teams. Jason's going to continue to throw the corner guard, and Botcher will peel. It'll be interesting to see which team sort of changes first, because Jason knows he's going to have to make a play on those rocks in the house eventually, and Brendan knows that when he does, he'll probably have some kind of double opportunity to get out of the end.
And once again, the corner guard goes away.
Halfway.
Alex Forrest now with his third stone.
Okay.
His first of the end.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Should be close. Okay.
Puts up with the corner guard.
See Botcher thinking here a little bit. He might be thinking about some way to deal with that yellow rock in the house, but he's just deciding to keep peeling, keep things simple, and probably let Jason make the first move.
Yeah! Hard! Gotta go, Card, gotta go! Hard! Watch the roll.
Not the result he was looking for.
No,
That's
you
what
will
you
see
see.
Jason take an attempt at this double on the blues and hopefully roll to the
Normal.
other side of the rings to sit two, and
Not easy,
probably
no.
get the opportunity to use that corner guard later.
Yeah, I like firm. Even nose is pretty good with firm. Firm.
When he says firm, what are you thinking as a curler?
So we have different weights that we call for takeouts. Every team sort of has their own sort of words that they use, or some of them will use times for how quickly they want it to travel down the sheet. Firm will generally be a pretty hard weight takeout, as you saw just there, and a perfect roll by Alex Forrest.
Sitting two right now. Very happy with the result.
Get it away from the corner. Just roll under his face. But even just like halfway.
Setting himself up for two. Now, if you're Botcher,
I think if you're Botcher, you really need to stick around here. You'd love to roll to the other side of the 8 foot and sort of keep Jason's play away from that corner guard. But it's very important that you stick around here, and hopefully you have a chance at a double on your next one.
Brendan Botcher with his first stone. You need this for line. Not much of a roll on that one. Opportunity now for Gunlickson to hit and roll. This time he's looking to go behind the guard.
Yep, absolutely. If he goes behind the guard, or even if he rolls a little bit farther than that, he'll probably force Brendan to just hit one of the rocks, and then he'll have a shot for two.
I like that. Hard. Board, you flip it. No, give me, but
He'd love to roll right behind this corner guard here and make Brendan just hit the open one.
speed okay here or what? Really here. Heel the whole way, and then he just swept his whole way. So that was like good, hard, normal. Okay, I can't see the light. Okay.
Jason Gunlinson with his first stone. Hit, little roll would be nice. Not a lot of weight. Was it enough?
Great, bro.
Just enough.
I thought it was heavy.
Didn't need to get it out. He is sitting 2, which is all he really needed out of that shot, but not a lot of weight he played there. Brendan's going to hit this open one, try to make the long roll across the house behind that corner guard. Very difficult shot, though.
And still sits shot rock.
Mm-hmm.
Botcher with his last stone of the end. Looking for a hit and a roll. They're calling sweepers on. A little too thin.
Yeah, just
Rolls
lost
out.
it.
Yeah, that's a shot.
And it's a draw to the 8-footer, full 12 at least for 2 for Team Gunlinson, and they're getting right back into this game.
Yeah, this end couldn't have turned out any better for Jason than what he was planning. Some great shots by the back end here to set up this deuce.
Jason Gunlinson with his final stone of this end. Needs full 12-foot at least for 2 points.
That's walking, boys.
And they say just that, it should be fine, and it is. Top of the 8-foot, and it's good for 2 points. We've got a tied game after 2 ends of play here at the Canad Men's Classic. Don't go anywhere. We're going to show you some of our proud sponsors that have helped put on this great event. All right, welcome back here to the Portage Curling Club for the Canad Men's Classic. Draw number 6 so far. And I'm going to throw it over to Matthew, who's going to do a quick rundown of what we see on some of the scoreboards. Matthew?
Okay, we got a pretty good draw here. We got 3 seaside games, or teams that are more or less just battling for their lives out here. You got to win to stay in this event. So on sheet 2, this one was interesting. I took a peek over. It came down to a measure in the first end. They actually had to grab a second measuring stick. I'm not sure what the deal was there. But they ended up coming out. It was Team Johnson and Team Lott. Team Lott ended up scoring the point with 1 in the first end. Over on sheet 3, we have William Lyburn taking 2 points over on Team Ruhonen. And then on sheet 5, our other seaside game, Team Carruthers and Team Horgan. They're playing in the second end, but haven't put up their score for the first. Took a peek over. I think it was 1 point for Horgan, but I'll let you know when that score goes up. And then our 3A finals here, we have Jacobs with a 1-point lead after 1 over Calvert. Our game here, Botcher and Gunlickson tied 2-2 going into the third. And over on sheet 7, Team Wenzik playing against Team Cooey in the second end. Team Cooey with 2 points in the first.
And they are on their final rock of this end here for the Wenzik and Cooey draw. It looks like it's going to be an interesting opportunity here for them.
Looks like he's sitting one for sure. Might have a little draw to the side of the pin for 2.
That's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's going out very wide to try and make that shot.
Well, back to our action. Like we said, we are tied at 2, and we are in the third end of play. Matthew Hall, Ken Plating, bringing you the action here on a variety of different platforms. YouTube, you can be watching us there, or you may be watching us on Daily Motion. And, of course, CBC Sports is picking up all the action this weekend. Check out the website and watch some more great curling.
How much?
They make it around the guard and manage to freeze that one right up against it.
Brendan Cullen to come around and freeze right on top of that yellow. Hoping to get a little bit of a tap if the line's good and hopefully unlock that yellow from the blue to make a play on it later.
And once again, they do it again. Freeze up to one another.
Very good shot by Carrick Martin there. Small tap to unlock that yellow. Chance probably to take it out later. You're going to see Gunner try and call for a freeze right on top of this blue on the other side. Each team battling to get those angles in their favor.
Denny Neufeld. Sweepers working hard on this one for line. It is close. It is close. Just right by.
Coming up a little light of the rings, but not. The line was right where they wanted, just a couple feet short.
And Sweepers did carry that one quite a bit, so.
Absolutely, they definitely didn't want to touch that guard there going by, so not the worst result, but little left to be desired. And an update on sheet 7, Wenzik only getting 1 in that second end, so Cooey with the 2-1 lead with the hammer going into 3.
I just don't want to overlap it too much this way, right? I don't hate it though.
Don't mind that.
Over on sheet 2, it's Lott playing Johnston. And Johnston with the final stone. Looks like he's going to try to attempt the blank at the end. As I said, Lott is leading that one 1-0, so trying to blank and get his deuce in the third end.
Calvert coming down with his last shot on 4 against Jacobs, trying to make an in-off. Very close. But it looks like a steal of 1 for Team Jacobs to take a 2-0 lead after 2.
On that line, T-line wasn't very good.
Sorry. Don't like that. Hit. Roll.
Neufeld looking for a little hit and roll with his stone here. Hit, gets a bit of a roll. And manages to stick around behind all the guards.
Be interesting to see what Brendan calls here. He called that last one to the wing, and he's doing it again here. Not a lot of room to play with those rocks around the center in that top house, so just trying to keep some play over to the side here till later on in the end where possibly they'll try and make some kind of tap, or if play stays out there the whole end, he'll have that draw to the button for his second point. Wouldn't expect to see that, though. I would expect Gunlickson to try and do something with those center rocks at some point.
Oh, take a look, guys.
Go, 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 go. It's okay, it's just pizza.
I like your qualified help, Chris.
Alex Forrest now.
Just a different spot.
Boys will understand.
That one was further out. You threw your first one a little
The third for the Gunlickson team. Looking for a hit.
Trying to hit and roll towards the center, bring play over there.
A bit of a rollover.
It's a pretty good shot. Botcher's team will need to roll away, or they will likely leave a double for Gunlickson on that shot stone.
Garen Molding. Calling for line right away.
Whoa! 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 Hard! Hard!
Hit. Gets them both out of play and moves over a little bit, keeping away from the rocks in the center.
Didn't roll far enough, it looks like. It looks like Jason is looking at a double here for Alex Forrest, trying to get that shot stone on the button out of there and sit two.
Would have been better if he would have rolled over another foot, maybe two.
Yeah, he would have liked to roll at least into the 8 foot there, even farther, even into the 12 foot. Just really didn't want to leave this double for Jason's team.
Alex Forrest. There, sweeping this one as hard as it can. He needs to keep it straight. Gets just a thin piece of it. Well, it came out of his hand a little inside, or?
Yeah, just might have been a little tight on the line there. Jason was calling them on right out of his hand. Big opportunity missed there by Alex Forrest.
You want to play it now? That's also a very good shot. This is a very good shot.
I think this is touching that.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
I like that.
I like it too. Yeah, yeah. Darren, we just got to make sure we're past that one.
Key liner back.
Brendan would have liked to do something with that yellow rock top 8, but just heard Darren comment that if they do it, it's likely going to touch their shot stone on the button. So he's not going to do that, and he's instead decided to try and draw a second shot in here to the back 4.
A little for line. Whoa. Post. Yep. Line.
Our line!
Whoa. 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 Off. 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 Off.
Corner the, yeah!
Whoa. Whoa. I don't. I'm not sure we want to see now. Whoa. Whoa.
That's okay.
The team getting caught again on that side of the sheet, coming up a little lighter than what they wanted. Did have to go out a little bit wider than anyone's played though, so probably just a little bit of fresh pebble, and that slowed that rock down.
A little indecision too near the end there. Didn't know if they wanted to come up to that yellow or not, but
Yeah, when you get all these angles in the house, it's tough to, especially as the shot's coming down, to come up with a plan B there.
Molding though did make his voice known and say that, yeah, it's still good, don't worry about it. So I think they're a little confident now that they're not in bad trouble.
Yeah, you might have lined it up for Jason to make some kind of tap and sit shot, but even if he did, Botcher would likely have some sort of slash in. I think that's what he meant by that. Jason trying to do the same shot Botcher just tried, trying to draw around to sort of the back button or back four.
Like, we're trying to be shot, but like back four basically. Just beat the top two. Do you see any other shots? No, there's no good passes. Yeah. Like, some sort like 4 feet harder and I need to draw them for one.
Last shot coming up here on sheet 5 for Team Carruthers. Still have not put up the score for the first end, so we're not sure what the situation is, but looks like he has Mike McEwen has some kind of draw tap for 2.
Jason Douglinson with his first of 2. They need this to get around the guard and more back 4 for shot rock.
Not a bad attempt by Jason there at all. Maybe slipped a foot or 2 deeper than they would have liked, but not a bad result. And Carruthers makes the tap for 2 against Team Horgan. We'll update you on what the score is when that gets posted. Botcher looking at how he might be able to set up a deuce here. First thought was possibly following Jason down, same path, just freezing to the rock he just threw. It looks like that's what they've decided to do here. Expect him to be very close. Just saw 2 rocks down that path by Darren Molding and by Jason, so pass should be right up to the speed that they like, and he's seen the line a couple times, so I'd expect him to be pretty close here.
Brendan Botcher with his first stone of this end.
The score was just posted on sheet 5, so it was 1 point for Horgan in the first, followed by a deuce by Carruthers to take a 2-1 lead after 2 ends.
Botcher now looking to come around. Add another rock to the pile in the front of the house. Or if he can squeeze by to that yellow in the back.
Very good shot by Brendan Botcher there. Great position to set up his deuce here.
shot's really hard. Make a calm move. Two. That's the shot. Right on. Right on. Yeah. And if we're light, that's more. Little more mid.
Looks like Gunlingson's decided to try and draw back button here to try and cut down the scoring area for Brendan Botcher. He looked a little bit at that angle combination at the top of the rings. I thought that might be what he would end up calling. It looks like if he did play that, Botcher might just have a draw for 2 or another angle for 2, but this definitely brings the 3 into play if Jason can't place this rock right where he wants to. So taking a little bit of a risk, but if he does put this rock in a good spot, it could really take the end away from Brendan Botcher.
Okay, we're nowhere near it. We're playing a guard. We're not doing anything.
Not sure what happened there. It seemed to curl early and just lose all its weight. But leaves the window wide open for Brendan Botcher here. A draw to the forefoot for 3.
Yeah, I like it. All we need, yeah, exactly. 14.
Okay. Same kind of weight I just threw. That last one I slid slow and then I gave
Last time we were 15 and a half. Little tight.
I liked it.
Line's good.
Whoa.
Line's good.
Whoa!
Line's good.
Got a curl.
Brendan Botcher,
It'll curl.
final stone of the end.
Hey, all you, T-line. Good shot.
I'm just running to the washroom quick.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that puts an end on 3. When we come back, we'll update you with the score and update you with what's going on here in Portage la Prairie. You're watching the Canadians Men's Classic, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
We are back here in Portage la Prairie for draw number 6 of this event. And plenty of action going on all the sheets. Pretty full house here in the Tavern United upstairs here at Canad Inns. Home of the Canad Inns Men's Classic and, of course, the Women's Classic that'll be going on next week, starting on Thursday. Don't forget about that. You can watch all the action right here in the same places. Whether that's Daily Motion, YouTube, or on CBC Sports, we will be here bringing you all the live coverage.
This is always one of the premier events for both the men and the women. I believe it's a full field next weekend for the women as well. Should be a very good event to watch.
Looks like
Connor Negavan, they're trying to get his stone over the line. Will he make it? Not quite, just a hair off.
Second hog stone for Connor Yegev in this game, so Struggling with his draw weight today.
Line's good. Maybe a little.
Good opportunity now for Botcher to throw up the guard.
Close. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Instead, they're going to bring this one right in.
Too heavy.
No, we're good.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Pumping this, pump
Hard.
And they use the shooter to knock back the shot stone right onto the button. They're now sitting 2.
Connor with his second attempt to put up this corner guard. That is one of the good things about this 5-rock rule. It does sort of give the teams the opportunity to come back, and it does allow you that second chance to throw that corner guard if for whatever reason you might miss the first one. Whereas back in the 4-rock rule, of course, now Brennan could just walk up and peel that rock and sort of take the end away from Jason. Now he's got to sort of take a little bit more risk here. He's going to throw the center guard, try and block off any kind of hit for Jason.
Line's good. Whoa, whoa.
Looking for just a guard up front.
Line's good. Line's not bad.
Trying to move it for line, trying to get it right on that center line. Still blocks off the double.
Jason doesn't want to take too many rocks out of play here. He wants the opportunity to score a couple back, but he does not have access to the button right now. So you're going to see him just try and tap this rock top 12 into the back of the rings. Hopefully maybe use that as a catcher later on in the end
Close.
and open up his path to the button.
Oh! Straight. Hard. Hurry.
Right by the guard. Little tap.
Great shot.
Leaves them in good shape.
Very good outcome for Team Gunlinkson there. Starting to set up a little bit of a wall in that back 4. See if Jason gets the chance. He'll try and throw a freeze down in there, and it'll be tough for Botcher to get out.
Bit of a pocket now for the Botcher team.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
So it was 3 points the last end for Team Botcher.
Yeah, we were a little unsure about that rock top 4. We don't have the overhead here, but it did look to us like it was 3, and score has now gone up on the board as 3 points for Botcher, so they take a 5-2 lead here in the 4th end. Well, I'd say you got your wish, Ken, getting a little more rocks in play this game and big scores here early on.
Team Gunlinkson with the opportunity to draw one in here.
Ready to catch. Whoa.
Trying to get right down into this pocket, hopefully without moving
Nothing. Whoa.
any of these blues very far, or if at all.
Hard weight.
Wanted to get it right to the button for shot stone.
Real nice spot.
Very close. Still usable with the yellow in front.
Just peel the top one.
So now removal of that top stone.
Yeah, they're just going to try and peel it out of the way, Brendan likes how this end is looking. All the play is in the rings. Only thing he has to worry about is that pocket, but he'll deal with that when the problem comes. Jason will have to make a tap on that yellow eventually, and then you'll see Brendan try and maybe make a play at some kind of double. As for right now, though, Jason's just going to guard it up, sort of waste a few shots and make that tap later on.
Wait.
He's gonna make it right in front of me.
Halfway. Line
Alex
close.
Forrest with his first shot of the end.
Okay, Danny, go. We're not in, Danny, go. Where? Come on. Well, we're good. Easy. Totally happy there.
Looking to plug things up a bit. Doesn't give Botcher much choices to pick out that yellow.
Yeah, no, Botcher's just going to peel out that guard and 3 rocks left for Jason. You might see him throw one more guard. I think that'll be the maximum, though. Wouldn't be surprised to see him make some kind of tap here or play on the rocks, but one more guard isn't out of the question either.
Basically, keep draw the.
And he is calling to tap that rock. About a foot. Just want to sort of tap it to frozen on that blue. Doesn't want to move the blues.
Line's tight. Line's good. Whoa! Where are we? How much? Curl, Danny. You gotta go curl. Okay, just let it die. It's supposed to be just die. Take, go a bit. Yeah, bounce.
The 240 50 50, the winning number for $160 is 8064.
Good result by Team Gunlickson there, keeping the angle on the yellows, so
8064.
Brennan can only get one of these yellows out. You'll see him probably just try and pick it clean, not try and disturb.
Otherwise, it'll be posted
So
on
half the rock is what they're looking at here.
Sorry, yeah, he is trying to disturb that second yellow. Hopefully, even if he would love to ideally even lose one of his own blues out of there and really get rid of that pocket at the back of the forefoot and open up a double for him on his next rock.
Brendan Botcher with his first stone.
Yeah. Whoa. Hard.
Trying to rattle some stones.
Okay, it's good.
That's not too bad of an outcome. He just still has an opportunity to remove that yellow.
Yeah, no, doesn't disturb that yellow, but he did move that other blue on the left side of the forefoot back sort of behind, so eliminates that pocket and will likely have the chance to make some kind of double on his next shot.
No, I mean the best shot's like nose tap back four, but like a lot of tricky doubles then. Yeah, I know. I guess. No, it's hard to get it out. That way, like get off the straight deck. I think we go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Deep fast. Because he can hit it this way and make this roll. That's yeah. That's just side edge button.
What?
Kind of pop eight to the other side.
Jason Gunlingson with his first rock. He does have the hammer this end. Trying to find a way to at least get two. Trying to split the rings a bit. Looking for the 8-foot.
That's the idea that he wanted. There is no double here for Brennan Botcher, and if he does just pick out that yellow stone in the 4-foot, he'll leave a double for Gunlickson to score 2. So
If we drop here, this is pretty safe.
So looking at a hit and roll here.
We could try this. We could crack this on the nose and make him make the double for 2. Okay? Sure. I like it. I like it. We're at 3. We're at 3. This is, I think, the best way to do it. Because then that roll is tough.
So the call here is to hit this yellow rock and roll about a foot and a half to the right side and block Jason's draw to the button. If he manages to roll a rock and block that draw to the button, I'm not sure how Jason gets 2. There might be a double on those blues, but he'd have to play it so close to his own yellow.
And take a chance of removing the rock. Botcher's final stone here. Needs the roll. Rolls a little too far.
Yes, and does leave this draw to the button for 2, which would be a big 2 for Jason Gunlickson to get himself back in this game.
Draw to the button to get his 2.
One more, bro.
Final stone of the 4th end here. It's 5-2 for Botcher. Gunlickson with the chance to draw for a second and get back into this game.
Line straight.
Needs to get a piece of the button. It's close. Sweepers take it in, and it looks like it's 2. And we've got a 5-4 game after 4 ends of play. We are going to take a quick break here. And here at the Canad Men's Classic, here's a look at some of our proud sponsors that help make this event happen. And we're back here in Portage La Prairie at the Portage Curling Club. Ken Plating along with Matthew Hall from Team Tardy. Matthew, a lot of great games going on right now. Can you give us a quick update with what you see?
Yeah, starting with our C event games here over on sheet 2, Johnson versus Lott. After Lott getting that 1 point in the first end, blanks in both 2 and 3. Few more rocks in play over there in the fourth that they're playing right now, but currently a 1-0 lead for Team Lott. On sheet 3, Lyburn versus Ruhonen. Lyburn, after getting 1 in the first end, Ruhonen has bounced back with 2 in the first end. Ruhonen bouncing back with a deuce and a steal of 1 to take a 3-2 lead after 3 ends. Sheet 5, Horgan against Carruthers. Horgan bouncing back with a deuce in the third end to take a 3-2 lead over Carruthers. Now going to our A finals over on sheet 4, Jacobs and Calvert. Jacobs with a 2-1 lead with the hammer in sheet 4. Our game here, of course, a 5-4 lead for Team Botcher after 4 ends. And over on sheet 7, a great shot just by Dan Wenzik to score 3 points. Now down 6-4 against Kevin Cooey after Cooey getting a 4-ender in the third end. So good way to bounce back after that.
Plenty of good games here in Portage la Prairie, and if you're around, you come out and check out some of the great action that's going on here. Well, back to our matchup. Couple of rocks in play. We have a couple of guards off the center line there, but looks like we're going to see some stones being thrown around in the front of the house. And Gunlingson looking like he wants to bring one in behind the blue and the yellow at the front.
Yeah, that's definitely not where Brendan Botcher would have liked that stone to go. He would have liked that a little bit into the top 4. That rock now just acting as another center guard for Jason to sink one around here into the top 4. And if he can do that, it's looking good early on in this end for him.
Real nice. Good job.
Nice job of getting one into the 4-foot. Connor Negevin with the nice shot. Tarek Martin now will look to do the exact same, maybe even push back that yellow just a little bit.
You're going to see Brendan try to keep the center open here in this end. He'd love to get a deuce, but he definitely does want to avoid giving Jason a steal. So he's going to play a little bit of a tap here, try and open it up.
By the guard, taps that one back. And out of play, and they got a rock now in the 8-foot that's open. Opportunity to do a little hit and roll. Danny Neufeld, the second for Team Gunlingson.
Denny, a great addition to this Gunlingson team. As mentioned earlier, played for years with the Mike McEwen squad, had lots of success with them. Although that was as a lead, moving up to the second position now, transitioning a little bit this year, but he brings a wealth of experience to this team that I'm sure will help them in the coming years.
Hit, little rollout, spills out the other side. It's visible for Thiessen now.
Easy. Yep. Yep.
Opportunity now for the Botcher team to
Gotta go.
hit and roll.
Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa.
And hit and stick right in its place.
Doesn't make the takeout, but doesn't make the roll. Brendan would have loved to roll about 2 or 3 feet out to the wing there to keep play away from the center. Staying right there does give Jason the chance to maybe make a little tap and roll into the 4-foot, or looks like might ignore it. No, he is going to play the little hit with hack weight, try and roll behind the corner guard. Center guard, sorry.
A little bit different here, playing with a little bit lighter of weight.
Yes.
So Neufeld. Keep close on this one because he'll start to move. On the nose again. Another opportunity for Botcher to do a hit and roll over to that wing, like you said.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Molding on the rock.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Hard. Hard.
They need to hold it for line to get the roll. A little tiny one, but not enough, obviously. Hard to get that rock to move in the direction that they're trying.
Yeah, both teams trying to get that to curl late, struggling to get it across that center line. Although Thiessen there did roll just a hair to the outside, giving a little bit more space to Gunlickson here to try and make this roll behind the center.
Alex Forrest's turn. Wanted to roll on the inside a little bit, trying to get behind those guards. This one seems to be hanging out there.
Whoa.
He's going to get a piece of it. Good chunk. He's going to roll off
Good shot.
a little more into the 8 foot on the wing.
Bumper.
Botcher switching plans now with this rock a little bit higher in the rings. He can safely try and hit and roll under this center guard now. If he does that, he will be just about top 4, and it'll be, even if Jason does make the freeze, Botcher will still be shot.
Clean.
Darren Molding now.
Yeah. Hard. 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 Hard.
And Botcher with a little roll on the inside.
Very good shot by Darren Molding there. Because he didn't roll fully buried, left it about a third or half open on that center line side. If Jason ever did wrap one around that, it does leave a little bit of a tap for Botcher later on in the end.
4 ball.
Alex Forrest coming down to talk to his skip. Confirm what they're going to do.
Yeah, what you're saying. This ball's just the wide shot. But it's kind of all or nothing, I guess. But, like, I don't know. It's tricky enough to yeah, but if you get back 4, then yeah, like, if you get him dead behind that blue, it's tough work, but that's a hard shot. But you just up and out and it hooks in. And if it comes and we shriek, that's fine call. Like, pretty much you hit the first on that line. I don't know, like chasing, I don't like it. I think that's okay, it's better.
There's a little bit of a discussion between Jason and Alex there about what they wanted to do. I think there was about 2 options they were discussing. One was the one they eventually decided to play, and we mentioned earlier with that wide out turn come around to the back button or back 4. We did see both teams play this exact same shot 2 ends ago, so should know the line and the weight to be pretty close. Other shot they were thinking of was the other side of the sheet, just freezing onto that shot stone that Botcher had, although they were worried what the follow-up was going to be, if they were ever going to get a chance to do something with that. So taking the more sort of offensive approach here, really trying to get shot stone here and make Botcher make a good shot.
Tight for line here. Gunlickson calling them on, and it looks like they may wreck.
Hard.
Nope, it's close. Little wick.
That is not good for Team Gunlickson. Touches the guard over to block that shot stone at the top of the 4. May have even tapped it in and leaves their shooter open. You might see Botcher play a hit and roll in here behind the center. Looks like that is what he's doing to sit 2, possibly 3 if they did tap that blue in.
Okay, all right.
Silver lining for Gunlickson, though, is that shot is still there. He can always sink one back four or back button, and
The forefoot is open on the broadcast left side of us right now. Needs it for line. Rock rolls over. Possibly sitting 3 right now.
not a bad result there for Brennan Botcher. Does block that draw to the back four, although may have rolled just far enough to leave a double here for Jason. It all comes down to if that rock at the top is in or not. That's going to be a very important factor here in the decision making for Jason Gunlickson. Looks like he's decided to play the double on these rocks in the top of the house. May lose his shooter, but I don't think he's too worried about that. Would like to stick around for shot, but I think the whole idea is just to open this up so he can sink one in there on his next one.
So sitting 3 right now. Jason Gunlickson needing to remove some stones. Coming out with speed.
Easy, easy, easy! Whoa!
Removes 1, removes 2.
Mission accomplished there for Team Gunlickson. Frees up the top of the forefoot. Loses his shooter, but he wasn't really worried about that. The most important thing was to open up a draw on his next shot. You're going to see Botcher, try and draw the top 4 here and hopefully actually leave himself 3/4 or just fully open. That way, if Jason does make that draw to the button, he'll have something that he can run in for possible 2 or 3.
So sitting 1 right now, Botcher putting another one in the rings. Question, did it pick?
Yeah, this late in the game, you wouldn't expect them to be that far off, so something likely happened to that rock there that threw them off a little bit. They were going early out of his hand, and you just heard Botcher say there he felt like he might have been a little bit light, but not quite that much. So Jason, according to plan, going to try and draw into the button here and make life a little bit difficult for Brendan Botcher. You might see him have to draw the pin here for 1 if Jason makes this shot really good.
This is 1 room less than that, and someone did get to the center line. So I think it's in the right place, but you have to be down or it'll just hit the... Give me a bit more with the curl.
Taking plenty of ice on this one. Last rock for Jason Gunlickson as we play the 5th end. Wants to get this one in the 4.
Line's pretty close. Top hit.
They're pushing this one back as far. So,
trying desperately to get that rock to curl there at the end. Might have gotten it just enough. It looks like it's just fully buried. Might show a piece, but Botcher looks pretty confident that he can see enough here to make a hack weight come around tap for 2.
And a very comfortable lead as he finishes N5 if he can make this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, clean, yeah!
Out of his hand.
Oh, clean! 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 Brad! Hard! Good.
And is it enough? It is. It's 2 for Team Botcher. And we've got a 7-4 game here in Portage de la Prairie for the Canadians Men's Classic. Stay tuned. We've got more coming up. And just right after this break.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Welcome back to Portage de la Prairie, home of the Canadians Men's Classic, and next week the Canadians Women's Classic. Starting up on Thursday, you can catch all the action, goes straight through to Sunday. Right now, though, we are in men's play with Team Botcher taking on Team Guglinson with a 7-4 score for Botcher.
Yeah, great shot there to finish the 5th end there by Brendan Botcher. The game sort of was hinging on the outcome of that shot. If he ever did sort of miss that shot and Jason came out with the steal, then it's a really open game moving forward in the last 3 ends. But with a 3-point lead, Brendan's got to be comfortable and looking good with only 3 ends to play here against Jason Gunlickson.
Connor Negevin.
Straight if you can. Curlin.
Looking to put up his guard.
Curlin off the sheet.
This one seems like it may have picked up something.
Okay, good. We got to guard some house.
Curled quite hard there for one moment. A little bit of a turn, but still exactly what they need to start with the run for the 2.
Yeah, you're going to see Jason try to get as many rocks in play here as he can. With the 5-rock rule, you might see him throw both corner guards here and try and sort of get a few more rocks in play and hopefully generate a deuce here. I think anything less than that he might not be happy with, but definitely a deuce would be huge here to get himself back into this game with only 2 ends left after this 6th end.
Team Botcher trying to drag this one into the rings. Right around their other stone. And Brendan Botcher happy with the result of Carrick Martin.
And you are seeing Gunlickson throw this 2nd corner guard here, same side as the other one. You're starting to see that a lot more in the men's. The idea used to be to try and split the sort of sheet, throw one corner on each side, but with everybody so good at double peels, if you're ever off on the weight on either one, you leave an angle to make a double peel. So throwing the corner on the same side, trying to get this as tight to the rings as possible.
We need to do this if we can. We got to go.
There they go. They are trying to move this one.
Real nice. Good pair.
I like right there. Yeah, we can even bump that a hair.
Brad Thiessen throwing 2nd stones for Team Botcher.
nose is okay.
Sweepers working hard to drag this rock into the 12. I feel that something picked up on the rock. Perhaps slowed it down.
Board. Hack. Gotta move these things out of danger.
Not the desired outcome for Team Botcher. Really wanted to get that one into the rings to force Gunlickson to start making plays in the house. With that coming up as a guard, though, it could just help Jason. He's going to try and make a little bit of a double here. Maybe not take the rocks out, but definitely move them out of the way of that top of the house. Give himself some room to fit some rocks later on to score.
Curl. Whoa. Clean. Hard, hard, hard.
Tap.
Good spot. Great shot, Danny.
Brendan Botcher not wasting any time running up just to try and peel these guards.
I don't think so. No. Oh, yeah.
Changing the call here. Instead of getting the guards, sort of getting two birds with one stone here. Getting the guard and that problem rock top 12 if they can.
Big weight on this one. 1, 2. Yep. Pretty good shape on that one. And just like that, Botcher is sitting 2.
And a very good result, not only making the double, but also sticking the blue right there, blocking that shot in the forefoot.
Back line room. Back line.
Wanted to move that blue stone on the 12 foot just a little bit. Give himself an opportunity for something later on. Tap back.
Yep, absolutely. Gonna try to get a situation going similar to what we saw in the fourth with that little bit of a wall in the back four. He's just gonna try and tap this sort of back four or just to the T line, sort of create a little bit of backing for himself to possibly freeze on later and generate a multiple score.
Whoa, whoa. Curl. Hard. Straight. Whoa, whoa. Roll behind the guard. No. Real nice. Great shot.
Good result there, making the tap and rolling behind the corner guard.
Top 8. I like this top 8.
So Botcher and his team looking at just throwing another one into the rings just to
Just turn.
make it a little more complicated for Gunlickson and his squad.
Yes, recognizing the situation, he is sitting 2, has that center guard which could be used in his favor. So he's going to switch gears a little bit here. Instead of trying to keep things a little bit simpler and open to take out the Gunlickson rock, going to try and just put the pressure right down on Gunlickson here. If he puts this top 8, Jason's going to have a tough time generating multiple score.
A little wide on this one. Well, not plan A, but definitely slightly different plan on that shot.
Yeah, the downside of that shot is he did tap his own back pin. If Jason can ever get one frozen there, or even hit and roll this sort of to the top 4 or something and generate the opportunity to draw into that button area later, it's going to be looking pretty good for him.
Straight! Hard! Hard! Move! Hard!
Needs to hold it for line.
Whoa! Curl! 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 We're just trying to kill this one.
Ooh, not the result they wanted at all.
No, we've seen a lot of Alex Forrest's rocks over curling this game. Not sure if that's just the line of delivery or if it's something with one of his stones. Maybe they're curling more and just not picking up, but a lot of his rocks just over curling from what they wanted and not getting the result they're looking for.
Botcher now looking to put one on the top of the 4. And there's a mess of red already, so
Again, Botcher switching gears here, putting the pressure, trying to put the pressure right down on Jason Gunlickson by making a good draw.
Molding, looking for top of the 4, just biting it. They're pushing it hard. It's starting to move. They're dragging it. It's a little light.
Yeah, just
on that play.
not quite far enough. A little bit,
Big roll's fine.
maybe overcompensation there by Darren Molding,
How'd you
being
like
a little
that?
heavy on his first and then coming up light. They really would have liked to at
Real
least
soft.
be closer than that other yellow on the left side of the rings there. So Jason gonna try and make a hit and roll here. Maybe get the opportunity to get some of those blues out and get that yellow to come into play.
Clean. Hard. Close.
Alex
Close.
Forrest.
Hard. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The second shot, little hit, little roll, little freeze. Pops kind of out into the open, so there is an opportunity there to remove that stone at a later date, later time.
Caught a little bit in between there. Would have liked to hit either that either a little bit thicker and roll just behind the center guards, or a little bit thinner and stick on top of that blue side 4. But caught in between him, rolled right into the hole there between those blues. So leaves a hit and roll here for Botcher. Silver lining for Gunlickson, though, is Botcher will always be behind T-line. So if he does ever roll to the center line, may leave a freeze opportunity for Jason Gunlickson.
Let's make sure we stay. Let's go.
So Botcher looking to remove that yellow stone in play. Sit 3 if he can roll it over to the 4-foot, back of the button.
Yep, clean, yep. Yeah, yes!
Needed for line.
Hard, go, Brad, go!
Need this one for line. It is moving.
Hard.
Definitely not what they were thinking and hoping for.
No, but got a little bit lucky with it. Moving that yellow behind that other blue, making it very difficult for Jason to ever remove that blue stone.
I agree with you.
So still sitting 1-2.
See, yeah, but like, if we get a, I realize he's most likely going to make it, but. We go, or he draw top pot. Right there. That's the best shot. Similar, like it's just heavy draw here. Draw the button. Like the exact ice almost for that, yeah. That's tough.
So Jason deciding what he wants to do here. Ended up deciding he wants to nose freeze on that blue back 4.
Which hit? This.
The idea there being that he will be shot,
Exactly what I did.
and Brennan will have to decide what he wants to do. You'll likely see him play another draw in on top, either try to get shot or at least cut down the scoring area for 2 for Jason.
If he doesn't hit the house, yeah. I think we just make 2 good ones get and like make him draw later. Like we should be able to throw an 8, 4-foot, you know, paint.
First rock for the skip from Morris, Manitoba. Looking to find the 4-foot. Freeze up to the blue in the back of a 4.
Over curling! Over curling!
Need to hold this one for line.
Top 4! Whoa. Gotta be shot! Gotta be shot! We can't dig there. Real nice, guys.
And bites a bit of the button.
Overcurled from what he wanted, but not bad. He did get shot stone, sitting top button. Although it does leave the opportunity for Brendan to draw down to his blue one here. If he ever freezes one onto his blue,
It's going to be hard to get to that button.
absolutely.
For 2.
If he freezes there and is shot stone, I don't see how Jason could get 2 points. Of course, if he wasn't shot, Jason will always have the in-turn draw to the other side of the button for his 2nd point. But if Brendan got in there for shot, Jason might just have to blast it out of there and only get 1.
Yeah, a little bit early. Early, yeah. Whoa, whoa. Ah! Ah! Yeah, yeah. Whoa.
Need this one to move a bit.
Brad.
Welds those 2 together.
Yeah, just like that, and I don't see how Jason can get 2, so looks like he's just going to have to blast it out and,
Hope for the best.
yeah, take his 1 point. Not the outcome Jason wanted, but he'll have to walk away happy with it now after a great shot by Brendan Botcher.
Is it worth like taking a run for 15? One is no good. Yeah! Get it like 4? No. Going in the. Okay, yeah, just
Looks
stuff.
like Jason deciding 1 is not enough. Looking at possibly a long angle run back. Maybe stick it. That might be the only chance he has for a deuce here. Taking 1, being down 2 without the hammer in the 7th end, not enough. Jason's decided, so gonna try this long angle run back for 2. Hopefully stick it right on those blue stones that Brendan just threw, and
Pretty close, yeah.
game on the line here for Jason Gunlickson.
Big shot for the skip. Looking for 2 points.
Hard! Whoa!
Running back the guard.
Close! Hard! Hard!
Not the right angle, and it's a steal of 1 for Team Botcher. And we are going to take ourselves a quick break here at the Canad Men's Classic. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Portage La Prairie. We are at the Portage Curling Club, and we are here for the home of the Canadians Men's Classic, which is going on right now. This goes straight through to Monday, and we will crown a champion. Women's Classic starts this Thursday with matches all day long, and we will wind that one up on Sunday. So plenty of curling action here in Portage over the next little bit. So we saw a steal of 1 in end number 6. It is 8 right now to 4 for Team Botcher. Gunlickson definitely needs to get things moving with just 2 ends to go in this game. Needs to get his deuce at least, possibly a 3. So I think we're going to see some pretty heavy offense.
Absolutely. That last shot there was a little bit of a, well, it was something he just had to do. I kind of agree with him. One, against teams this skilled, just getting 1 in the 6th then probably isn't enough. He would have had to steal the 7th and steal the 8th just to tie the game. So I agree with the call. He had to sort of take that for 2, but now back against the wall and gonna have to make some very good curling here in the last 2 ends to have a chance.
If he's got a hope and a shot, he's going to have to make it in this end for sure and come away with a few points at least. Yeah,
absolutely. With the 5-rock rule, though, 3 is definitely a possibility with the opportunity to throw 2 corner guards. So not the end of the world. I'm sure Jason would love to walk out of here with at least 2 minimum and hopefully maybe steal 2 in the 8th or a 3 and then a steal of 1. But against teams this skilled, that is a tall order, that's for sure.
A little heavy. We're okay. Back 4, back 4.
We've got another ring in the house of the rock in the ring. It's been a long day already. Ken Plating, Matthew Hall from Team Tardy with you doing the color commentary today.
We got 2 more to go after this, so hopefully you're not getting sick of it already.
Connor Negevin with his 2nd shot. Try to come around his guard, put 1 into the rings. And this rock with the nice finish. Put just before the 12-foot.
I would say 13-2, 13-3.
Same idea as you saw last end, wrapping that 2nd guard tighter to the rings around the 1st. I think that 1st one may have slipped in a little bit deeper than they wanted though, so not a lot of room to work with. Those rocks do look close together and could possibly see a double peel here later on. But not able to do that with the 5 rocks, so drawing another rock into the rings here.
Tapping a rock.
Danny Neufeld now with an opportunity to come down into the house and tap 1 back a little bit.
That last rock by Brad Thiessen making a little bit of a pocket on that side of the 4-foot. So hoping to just tap that rock that he just threw just a little bit, make a nice even pocket and sit right there. Hopefully bring Brendan's attention away from those corner guards.
Coming up a little short on that play.
Not what they wanted here. Brendan would love to sort of make a little bit of hit and roll on the inside. Even if he lost one of his in the 4-foot, I think he'd be happy with that. Get rid of that possible pocket there.
Thiessen with some weight. Rock moving a bit now, and that rock is in there. And they are now sitting 4. Once again, Gillingston trying to get a rock in there. Trying to freeze to that pocket that they made for him.
Yeah. Botcher did tap that other rock away, so now leaving the out-turn freeze.
Straight. Hard line. Clean. Hard line. Whoa, right.
The rock freezes up to those blues that are in the back of the house. Good opportunity now for Team Gudlington to try to steal.
Great attempt there by Denny Neufeld, freezing it right onto that blue. So Darren Moulding will have to run this back to get it to have the chance to take it out.
It's that yellow spills to the back of the forefoot.
Sitting behind that other blue, so you'll have to see a run back again to get that yellow rock out of there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Jason gonna ignore it though, go right around this corner guard now that he's the opportunity to use it.
Alex Forrest. Looking to draw one in there.
Whoa, okay. Getting close. Something. Yeah. Curling. That's that one.
A little bit heavy coming down there for Alex Forrest, so playing a bit of a plan B, taking that blue one to try and made actually a pretty good shot. Looks like rolling over onto that blue, out counting it. Is open on the outside of that guard though, so Brennan Botcher with the opportunity to possibly pick it out.
So Darren Moulding throwing third stones. Darren Moulding looking to remove a yellow rock. Instead, he catches the guard in front.
Not a great throw there by Darren Moulding, calling him on right out of his hand. Must have been a little bit tight. Wrecking on that guard. Jason, the opportunity to get a third yellow stone into the rings here. Going to try and play a little hit and roll. Not only get behind that corner guard, but deal with one of those blues that are sitting in the center of the sheet.
Alex Forrest with his second shot of the end.
Whoa. Heavy. Oh. Hard.
This catches enough of it, misses the blue.
Very good shot by Alex Forrest there. Making the roll to the outside edge of that guard, overlapping that other yellow.
Doesn't really hurt them at all.
No, it's actually very good. It has the opportunity that it's going to be very tough for Botcher to get a double here. So possibly looking at maybe even a hit and roll behind that corner on the yellow one in the forefoot. Botcher confident that any play on those yellow rocks over there on the side of the sheet will end up with a 3 for Gunlickson. So gonna try and take it away from him. Gonna try and hit this rock in the forefoot and roll behind his own corner guard to protect it. Jason's own corner guard, sorry.
Brendan Botcher with his first stone. Needing a bit of a roll. It's a bit of a roll. Is it enough, though?
Doesn't look like that. It is wide open. Not sure if there's a double, though. They look pretty even, so you might see Jason try and play a hack weight or hit and roll behind the corner, maybe set up a 4.
Like, that is half open, but it's out there. Yeah, but then it's open hand. He's, yeah. But if we go here and he, but, yeah. That's what they say, but I'm after the board. No, we just want to be jam side. And he hits first. So he probably draws, and that's fine.
Bit of a discussion on right where they want to roll to here, but looks like the decision is to play a hack waiter, hit this blue on the side of the forefoot, and roll behind the corner guard.
To sit second, third, and fourth shot rock.
Then it's 3. If it makes it good, then that's
Yes, but those yellows are half open, so you'll likely see Brendan throw a hit down, get at least one of them out if Jason does make this the way he wants to.
Gunlickson with his first stone. Need it for line.
the blue! Perfect. Line it up, too.
What a shot there by Jason Gunlickson. Looks like he said right there he lined up that, so if Botcher does try to hit that yellow that's farthest on the outside, it could just jam on that black, on that back blue.
Well, Brandon, if we're here and he plays that, it's going to run into that.
Looks like Botcher doesn't like the angles on any kind of hit, so looking at where he might be able to draw to not leave a double for Jason Gunlickson for 4.
Yeah, I do.
Do you draw to behind the guard that is on our right?
I think you have to. You want as much separation as you possibly can between those blues. Ideally, you want it level with that other blue, so about top 4 sort of weight, but just over on that other side of the sheet in the 8-foot. Kind of tuck it a piece behind that corner guard if you can. I think that's the perfect spot, right where Brennan and Darren are sort of motioning there.
I know it's not a great situation. Screw this over here. But I think if you can just stick one somewhere in here.
I think similar to last time, though, if no matter how crazy it is, if there is a shot for 4 that Jason sees, I think he's going to try to play it.
He'll have to try to play it in order to get back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
Positive little pep talk before his skip goes away. Darren Moulding saying he has this one and it's no problem. So we're looking at a draw, preferably behind the guard into the 8-foot for second shot.
The rock placement here is very important. You want to make this double as tough as you possibly can.
Definitely need the rocks to be as even as possible. Botcher with his final stone for the end.
Line's good. Line's good. Yeah, line. Hard line. Hard line. Hard line. Hard. Hard. Wait only.
Sweepers are carrying it. They get it in there. They got a beauty. Exactly what they wanted to do. Place it in the perfect spot.
Absolutely. That rock put its blinker on and just made a right turn halfway down the sheet, but very good sweeping by Thiessen and Martin to get it by that guard. Although I'm wondering, it might not quite have gotten deep enough. If Jason has a double here, the blue might touch those top yellows, and I don't think they go very far. Very tough shot either way.
Yeah, so that's going to go easy, so I think we want to throw it soft as possible.
He's looking at the double as motion before, but he's going to run this guard back to get the better angle on, to get that first blue out of the rings and hopefully keep his yellows around.
You see this? Yeah, I just killed the one on Danny's side. Hope for the best.
We have handshakes over on sheet 7. Cooey defeating Team Wenzik and being the first team to qualify for the playoffs here. Final score looks like 9-5.
What could be the final stone in our game, Gunlickson needing some luck on this one. Running back the guard. One jams it. Looks
Not
like it's a
quite.
steal. It looks like it's handshakes. Steal of one in end number 7, making it a 9-4 final. Good game all the way up to the end. Both teams in this one trading shots back and forth. Some final thoughts on how this game went, Matthew?
It was a very good game by both teams. We saw both teams come out very aggressive here this afternoon. Very high scoring affair. Definitely early on in the first 4, it was 5-4 with a couple of deuces and even a 3. I think that 3 in the third end was really the turning point for this game, though, for Botcher. That decision to make that draw for Gunlickson and leave that attempt for 3 for Botcher might be something to look at later on, but definitely the turning point in this game, and Botcher very comfortable, never looked back, and went on to win this game.
Well, the final, once again, 9-4 for Team Botcher. That'll do it for us here at the Portage Curling Club. For myself and for Matthew, have yourself a good evening. We are back here at 5 o'clock for our next draw for the Canadians Men's Classic. From all of us here, have yourself a good night, and we'll see you soon at around 5 o'clock.